looking at the Red Pill Diaries, I just wanted to say something that hopefully my last ever thing about this election in the US, because I don't want to talk about this or get involved in it. I know politics is fake anyway, but I just wanted to say, I've said in a few other vids, but I wanted to put it together in one about what my kind of prediction is for all this situation is. Right, so it's basically creation of even more friction between the people of the US. So either Trump wins his dispute, which is obviously credible given what you can see happen. Well, depends what reality you're seeing. If you're fed the reality that shows everything being above board, then you think it was crazy what he's doing. If you can see what I think is a more impartial reality, that the thing's obviously rigged, but it doesn't make him legitimate. It doesn't mean that Trump could have disbanded the FBI, CIA, and all these sort of things. Didn't do it. These are the people that have been attacking him for years. He could have taken down the paedophile network. He could have done a lot of other things that these Q-tards believed he would do and didn't. Right. So it's illegitimate anyway. As far as I'm concerned, the whole government's illegitimate everywhere and all over the world. But what's likely happening here, and as I said about Kamala Harris being basically elected, that's what's happened. They've pushed her in through the back door. Her and Mike Bloomberg, as I think we remember, were the two most unpopular candidates. No one liked them at all. No one wanted them in. And that's why they basically found the most unpopular person next to that weirdo, because he's a real weirdo, that guy. But she's also they're both sociopaths. Mike Bloomberg and her, both sociopaths. There's plenty of stuff online about her, the way she's acted, her policies, how she's treated people, and the judgment she's made as because she's part of the justice system in California. So anyway, besides that, what's really going on is Trump was against the pandemic. Well, you could say that, but then again, he's also talking about this kind of vaccine. They can say it's not a vaccine, but it's a transfusion, but it's the same thing. It's a way to get something in your body that's something foreign. So really, I mean, Bill Gates has won the election. That's what's really happening, right? Bill Gates has won the election along with any of his buddies in the Rockefeller Institute and all these other organizations that are controlling humanity. But even if let's say it's just to create civil war, because remember, just because the elite come up with a plan, they sometimes put their toe in the water about implementing that plan. I think the fake alien invasion thing's been on the table for years, and they've always just kind of pulled back a little bit. Oh, let's not do it yet. Let's save it for later. And for all you know, they're going to save this agenda 2030 that seemed to be happening sooner. Maybe they will save it for 2030. Maybe it'll just be a teaser this time, and then it will happen next time, right? Edging ever closer. And if that is the case, then Trump would be able to claw victory back, upset all the libtards, all that negative energy would be created and fed on by the creatures of this world or realm or universe, whatever the fuck it is that we're in. And happy days for a while, a little bit of rejoicing from people on the right and the left, because Trump is more left than what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are. So I'd say that there'd be a lot of happiness. Sometimes you're granted that in this world. Sometimes the masses are granted that in this world. So look at the French Revolution I bring up all the time. That was people being granted a little bit of a break after centuries of being treated like shit. So that's one thing. If it does happen, what we basically got going on is Super Cop Harris will be in power, because he's only there to get as an excuse that it was even plausible to get her in, even though we know that even Biden himself is not popular enough to have been elected. He's just not, right? And but you can see it if you recognize the reality of what's going on with the voter fraud, like what happened in Scotland years ago, or what happened in America multiple times, or all around the world. You see it in not Venezuela. You see it in Honduras and many other places. Bolivia was the recent one where the coup happened over there. 1 year they went putting up with this fascist puppet government installed by America. So what I think would happen in that scenario is Super Cop Harris is going to be, even Biden as well, would be all along the wear the damn mask, man, locking down the world, taking away more of your rights, A friend of mine yesterday found out, for example, just to get back into his own country of New Zealand, he'll have to pay, I think it's thousands of dollars, I'm not sure, for 14 days of quarantine. So they're basically trying to make it, well, that's communism. Leave you, it's a form of communism. They don't want you to leave your country. So it's communism light. I can't believe it's not communism, you know what I mean? Because what they're basically saying is, oh, you can leave the country, but it's going to cost you thousands to leave and come back to your own country. So this is kind of what they want to do everywhere. You won't be able to travel out without your passport. I know it sounds like, oh, look at this guy, tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. It's happening in front of your fucking face. But of course, to the type of person who's programmed to accept all that, you're going to accept every excuse. You're going to look at everything that says, oh, that's just because blah, 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 blah. You're just you listen to a talking head and you become a talking head, right? So that's what I think is going on here. Unlikely that Trump's going to take it back. Many things Trump didn't do. You could say he didn't do the Epstein situation. He didn't sort all that out because maybe he's actually guilty himself. Who knows? Not that I think it's any different who gets in power in the grand scheme of things, but in the short term, Kamala Harris and Biden will back everything that Bill Gates wants to do, and continue to support wars. You imagine how much negative energy that creates when you create another million displaced children that can be picked up and trafficked for sex trafficking to the US, just like what happened in Libya. So that's the more likely one that will happen. But if Trump wins it back, well, either way, if they manage to get away with the fraud, it's going to make the right wing go radical. Since the left, the BLM and Antifa fascists, they set the precedent for how to act when you won't accept the president. They didn't accept him for 4 years. Well, that's exactly what's going to happen from the other side now. But now they can say, right, well, you went in the street, looted, rioted. They won't loot because they're probably not as bad, but they'll definitely probably take out guns and shoot people like they did on the other side when a Trump supporter got shot, and the many that have got attacked and lost their lives just by being kicked to death and stuff. So that's what's probably going to happen. Either way, it's going to be, if not civil war, just extreme levels of civil unrest. And I would say that no matter what happens, that civil unrest will remain in the Democrat-controlled states. Whether Trump claws back victory and is able to undo the fraud. I mean, blatant fraud. It's not anyone taking off their bipartisan lens and just looking at like a normal human being who doesn't have an agenda on either side, who doesn't really care who wins on either side, and just look at it with an open mind. It's obviously rigged, like many other elections around the world. I'm leaving it at that. Cheers. Oh, is that the only thing I want to say? Yeah, I think so. Bye.